Hello guys! For today, we are going to make a crochet houndstooth cardigan. And let's start! The measurement guide is in the description below. We are going to start at the ribbing of our sleeves. It measures 6 inches. I also provided on the upper left side of the screen the total stitches in every row, so it will be easier. We're going to start this part, which measures around 14 inches. You can see after I made single crochet, I'll make double crochet to the stitch where the single crochet is. It's like a SC and DC in one stitch. Let's make sure that we end with the double crochet stitch. To our last double crochet, we will just pull once because we will change color. Get your white yarn, make a slip knot, and then attach it. This stitch is called the lemon peel stitch. It's either with single crochet in the double crochet of the previous row or with double crochet in the single crochet of the previous row. That is how it works. You can mark your first stitch so you won't miss any. And as we go, we'll make sure that we will hide the other yarn. Please make note that in every rows, we must end with a double crochet stitch. After pulling once, let's change color. But before we start the next row, let us always pull the yarn that we hide so that our work will look clean overall. Pull just enough. Switch color. we will just alternate row 2 and 3 until we reach row 53, which is the length of our sleeves. If you want longer sleeves, you can add more row, but make sure we must end with an odd row. Every white yarn is an even row, and every orange yarn is an odd row. Other sleeve, kindly repeat the same pattern. Next is we are going to make the front left side in our mirror view. Let us begin at the ribbing first. Please repeat the process like what we did on the ribbing of our sleeves. Like chain 13 first, skip 1, then single crochet to the next 12 chains. Chain 1, turn, and single crochet back loop only to the next 11 stitches. For the last stitch, single crochet both loops. We will just repeat the pattern and make 38 rows, and I'll meet you on our last row. And if you prefer a wider row, you can add more rows as long as it's an even row. This is how it looks once we're done. And then, let's begin this part. Let's switch to 4mm hook. The stitches in this row must have the same count as our ribbing rows. We have 38 rows in ribbing. Then in this row, we must also have 38 stitches. You can mark your first stitch so you won't miss any. Remember, we must always end up with a double crochet stitch. On On our last double crochet stitch, pull just once and then get your white yarn. Make a slip knot and attach it. On our last double crochet stitch, after pulling once, then change color. Stitch, change color. And for the next rows, we are just going to alternate row 2 and 3 until we reach row 30, and I'll meet you there again. You can add more rows as long as it's an even row. Like mine, I have 30 rows in this part. And let's begin our decreasing rows. For row 31, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, alternate until we have 8 stitches left. So you can see on the screen that our last stitch is a double crochet. To continue the pattern, we will make single crochet 3 together. After having 4 loops on our hook, then change color. For row 32, chain 1, turn your work, start with a double crochet and followed by a single crochet. This is just a normal row, no decrease. Please take note that every even rows are normal rows and every odd rows are decreasing rows. For row 33, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, and I'll meet you again when we have 2 stitches left. Our last stitch is a single crochet. On our remaining 2 stitches, let us make double crochet 2 together. After having 3 loops on our hook, change color. For row 34, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, just a normal row. For row 35, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, and I'll meet you again when we have 2 stitches left. On the remaining 2 stitches, let's make single crochet 2 together. For row 36, just a normal row. Row 37, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, and I'll meet you again once we have 2 stitches left. On our remaining 2 stitches, let's make double crochet 2 together and then change color. For row 38, just make the normal rows. Row 39, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet followed by a double crochet, and I'll meet you again when we have 2 stitches left. On the remaining stitches, let's make single crochet 2 together. double crochet 2 together. For row 42, just make the normal rows. For row 43, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and follow by a double crochet until you have 2 stitches left, then make single crochet 2 together. For row 44, let us make normal rows. For row 45, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet until you have 2 stitches left, then make double crochet 2 together. From row 46 until row 49, make the normal rows, no decrease. This panel, the right part, in a mirror view. It's just pretty the same like what we did on our other front part. We will make the same pattern of the ribbing and then the same pattern from row 1 to row 30. And I'll meet you again at row 30. Now I am at row 30. Once finished, chain 1, cut both yarns and lastly secure. So if you wonder why we cut off a yarn, it's because we are going to mirror the other side so that the 2 front parts will be facing correctly. Continue, flip your work, make sure it's facing on this part as what you can see on the screen. Count 5 stitches, then insert your hook on the 6th stitch. From there, get your yarn, make a slip knot and attach it, and chain 1 and make DC 3 together to the first 3 stitches, and then follow with the single crochet and double crochet. You can mark the first stitch so you won't miss any. stitches, which means make single crochet 2 together and then followed by a normal DC and SC. For the next rows, we are just going to alternate row 32, which is the normal rows, and row 33, which is the decreasing rows, till we reach row 45, our last decreasing row. For row 46 to 49, we are just going to make the normal rows. Note, we are going to make decrease to the first 2 stitches. But remember the pattern, if you start with a single crochet, you followed by the double crochet. And when you start with a double crochet, it would be followed by a single crochet. Total stitches count in each row is on the screen, and this will be your guide. Once finished in row 49, chain 1, cut both yarns, and lastly secure. We are going to make the back panel. Let's begin at the ribbing. The ribbing is just pretty the same, like all the ribbings that we did. I'll make 76 rows on the back panel ribbing. It's because if we're going to sum up the 2 front panels, it is equals to 76. Make 76 rows. I'll meet you again in the last row. So this is our last row, row 76. Change to 4mm hook. And we are going to start the lemon peel stitch row. Chain 1, start with a single crochet followed by a double crochet. Alternate, and I'll meet you again at the end of the row. double crochet after pulling once, then change color. For row 3, chain 1 turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet, alternate. For the following rows, we are just going to alternate row 2 and 3 until we reach row 46. You can add more rows here as long as your rows here must be equal on the front panel rows. Chain 1 turn, start with a single crochet and followed by a double crochet to the next 24 stitches and make single crochet 3 together on the 25, 26 and to the 27th stitch. This is our 24th stitch at double crochet. Then let us make the single crochet 3 together. Don't forget to change color. For row 48, chain 1, turn, then let us make a single crochet 2 together to the first 2 stitches and then make a normal double crochet followed by a single crochet. For row 49, which will be our last row, we are just going to make the normal row, no decrease. Once done, chain 1, cut both yarns and lastly secure. Take note, on a row 49, we must have 24 stitches left. And then, let's begin the other part. Let's flip our work and make sure it's facing what you can see on the screen. And then count 27 stitches. On 27th stitch, get the other yarn, make a slip knot first and then attach it. Chain 1 and let us make double crochet 3 together to the first 3 stitches. Your white yarn. For row 48, chain 1, turn, start with a single crochet followed by a double crochet until we have 2 stitches left, then make double crochet 2 together. So these are our last 2 stitches. For row 49, just a normal row, and once done, chain 1, cut both yarns and lastly secure, like what we did on the other side. And now we are done. We are going to attach the pieces that we made. Get the front panel. Make sure you will follow what's on the screen, so that when we connect both, it's facing in the right part. Both parts are facing in the wrong way. Make a slip knot, attach your yarn, and we will use slip stitch to attach both. Done, chain 1 and cut your yarn. This will be the view on the right side of our cardigan. Face both pieces in the wrong way. Let's do the same, connect both using slip stitch, and once done, chain 1 and cut your yarn. But before we're going to attach the sleeves, we'll first put ribbing on our cardigan. Face your cardigan right side out. Insert your hook to the very first stitch. next 5 chains. And then slip stitch twice below. Turn your work and then skip the 2 slip stitches that we made and make single crochet back loop only to the single crochet that we made in the previous row. But on the last stitch, we are going to pick both loops. For row 3, chain 1 turn and single crochet back loop only to every stitches. And once we reach in this part, we will make slip stitch twice below. For the next rows, we are just going to alternate row 2 and 3 until we reach the corner. So you can see guys, when I reach the lemon peel stitch row, I slip stitch in every color. 1 slip stitch only in white yarn and 1 slip stitch only in orange yarn. I'll meet you back again once we reach the corner, this one. So please continue the pattern. to the last row, I have 48 rows. The next thing we will do is we are going to sew our buttons. So I have 5 buttons here. And now we are going to sew it in our cardigan. Get your thread and needle, and I'm using white needle here, and I sew it in a cross stitch way. And then cut your thread and secure on the back. And then repeat the same thing to the other buttons. And this is how it looks when it's done. And we are going to make the other weaving. It's a little bit different because we're going to make holes in there. So let's start on the top. Insert your hook and then chain 6. Skip 1 chain and single crochet to the next 5 chains. And then slip stitch twice below. For row 2, turn, then single crochet back loop only to the next 4 stitches, and for the last single crochet, pick both loops. For row 3, it's a little bit different because after we made 2 single crochets, make sure to pick back loop only. We're going to chain 1 to make a hole, and then continue making single crochets back loop only. The pattern is very the same like what we did on the other ribbing, but a small difference is that we are going to chain 1 to make space. We are just going to count stitches to identify our chain 1 space. When we reach the chain 1, we are just going to single crochet in the space. Please continue the same pattern until we reach the bottom. This video, I already made 2 holes, and I'll meet you again at the end of the row. A continuation, and I'm about to finish the ribbing. Guys, let's make sure that our rows here must have the same count as the rows on the other ribbing. You can see here that I just aligned my rows to the buttons to make it easier for me where to make the chain 1 space. When done, chain 1 and cut off your yarn. finish. Let us now attach our sleeve. Count your stitch and mark the 34th. We're going to attach it like what you can see on the screen. Let's flip our work wrong side out. And let us put our stitch marker into the slip stitches that we made in connecting the front panel and back panel. Sure also that your sleeves are facing on the wrong part. Get your yarn and let us connect both parts by using slip stitches. I'll meet you again at the center. When we will reach our stitch marker, let us still make sure that it is placed in the center. Making slip stitches, and when done, chain one and cut the yarn. And then guys, we are now going to connect these parts. I sincerely apologize. My video was corrupted when recording this part. So this is just a brief explanation. Get your 4mm hook on your yarn. Let's start at the bottom and make sure it's facing wrong side out. We are going to connect using slip stitches. One slip stitch in a stitch, and when we reach the lemon peel row, let's make sure that our colors are aligned. For example, we slip stitch on the white yarn in the back panel. Let's make sure that we slip stitch also a white yarn on the other panel. So this is just the remaining record that I left where I connect the sleeves part. Once finished, chain one and cut the yarn. And now we are going to add our very last ribbing. Turn your cardigan in the right part. Get your yarn on your 3.5mm hook. single crochet back loop only to the next 4 stitches. And for the last stitch, we are going to make single crochet and make sure to pick both loops. For row 3, chain 1 turn and single crochet back loop only into every stitches. And then slip stitch twice below. For the next row, we are just going to alternate row 2 and 3 all the way around. We won't do anything special, no increase, no decrease. So this is where we start. All the way around, we are just going to alternate row 2 and 3 until we reach the other corner. And when done, chain 1 and cut the yarn. So from where I start to where I finish, I made 116 rows. And finally, our Houndstooth cardigan is done. But don't forget to wave in the ends. Thank you so much for watching. If you love this tutorial, please like and subscribe to my channel. Because on my next upload, we will be adding pockets on our cardigan. Thank you so much again, and God bless.